Hi, everybody. Welcome to the March 16th, 2018 edition of Colorado Inside Out Postgame, a special web-exclusive production here on Channel 12. I'm your host, Dominic Dezzutti. Let's get a quick take on the Denver Sheriff Department conducting an internal investigation of inmate release policies after ICE was not properly notified of an undocumented immigrant's release last weekend. DSD officials failed to notify ICE of the person's release until an hour after he was gone. He is suspected in a deadly DUI crash that happened earlier this month and was being considered for deportation by ICE authorities. Patty Cahoon from Westward. We've talked a lot about the whole sanctuary city thing. This doesn't seem to fit that description. This seems to just be an outright error. But am I being a little too optimistic about it?
No, it is an outright error. And if the city wants to really stand by its policies and stand up to ICE, then they should at least observe the compromise they've come up with. I happen to be stuck in that incredible traffic jam on I-70 that day. I didn't find out until later how tragic it was that a truck driver was killed by this drunk driver who is allegedly now this undocumented alien here who was let out. I mean, I don't even understand how he got let out, how anyone would get let out of jail after something like that. It was really an incredible, egregious, drunk, killed someone. Not to mention closing I-70 for 10 hours, which will remind us what it's going to be like when we have the project coming along to expand it. But bad move by the Sheriff's Department, which seems to always be doing internal investigations.
I agree. Apparently he posted bond, so that's how we got up. I agree with you that involved in a deadly crash, how does that even happen? David Kopel from the Independence Institute and DU Law School. For a city with a government that wants to have maybe not officially sanctuary city policies, but welcoming city policies, this seems to become a problem.
Well, we shouldn't be welcoming people who, I believe, not only besides drunk driving and killing someone, vehicular homicide, it was also a hit and run that he fled the scene rather than trying to stay and try to help the victim, tried to get away. And we should help him get away as far as possible and deport him. And if he ever returns, it should be a long prison sentence the moment he's noticed. The Denver Sheriff's Department admitted it made a mistake, and ICE said in the Denver office, this normally doesn't happen. Usually in these kind of situations, the Denver Sheriff's Office will give us, Sheriff's Department, will give us 2 hours of advance notification. They messed up this time, but that's not part of a pattern, and the 3 deputies who were involved in this error have been reassigned other tasks. So this does seem to be an error. In California, it would be deliberate policy. The California policy now is we don't care what kind of crime you commit, including homicides, as in this case. We want illegal aliens to stay under all conditions, and we will shelter them from deportation conclusively. So at least it was an error in the sheriff's office rather than the policy that's implemented in some other places.
Eric Solomon, political analyst. Sticking to Colorado, does this become a bigger issue because of the focus? I mean, it even made a President Trump announcement, the fact that it happened here and is used in one of his speeches. Does it become a bigger problem for the city of Denver because of our experience with immigration and sanctuary city accusations?
Well, it becomes a bigger problem because it's not the first time. This has happened before with the Denver Sheriff's Department. Patty's right. I mean, you can count on a couple things on a daily basis. One is the sun coming up. To Krista's previous point, whether it's on standard time or daylight saving time, the sun comes up every day, and the Denver Sheriff's Department has internal investigations going on because somebody screwed up on one thing or another. This should not be part of the bigger debate about sanctuary cities or nullification or immigration policy or walls or any of that. We ought to be able to, discern as a society that there are a few people who have no rights to be here. They are not citizens of this country. They have not been welcomed into this country through any acceptable process. And secondly, do nothing for this country by being here, and ought to be shown the door as quickly as possible. And the Sheriff's Department screwed the pooch here, hopefully for the last time, but I wouldn't bet on it.
Making a premiere at the CIO table, Krista Kafer, Denver Post columnist. Do you think that because this was a blatant error, we've heard from, as David mentioned, we've heard from ICE authorities, we've seen the deputies involved reassigned, can Denver move on from this fairly quickly, or because the whole immigration thing, does it stick around?
Oh, the immigration thing is definitely going to stick around. And whether it's deliberate or accidental, I don't think it's right for a city to be harboring or sheltering illegal immigrants who commit crimes. These are people here, as Eric said, they're here illegally, and then they're doing things that are illegal while they're here. In this case was particularly egregious, in which there was drinking and driving, hit and run, and vehicular homicide. I think Denver definitely needs to do a better job, but they also, I think, need to rethink their sanctuary city policies, because even if it was a minor crime, that person is still committing a crime. It's time for them to go home.
That is all the time we have for CIO Postgame this week. Leave us a comment, tell us what you think. For everyone here at CPT12.org, I'm Dominic Dezzutti. Thanks for watching.